with Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side. Man open. Touchdown! Looking deep. He's got a man. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for the touchdown. He's in. Touchdown! Tagovailoa trying to reach out for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown! He's rolling around. Touchdown, Dolphins! A beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, hit! Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. As hey, if you are a Patreon or if you're a channel member, you're coming fresh off a little update I had for both of y'all. The offensive line right now, but hey, let's get into it. I mean, we got scrimmage today. A lot of stuff happened. It was, from what I've heard, not one of Tua's best days when it came to performance-wise. We're going to go over some highlights from McDaniel's presser after. We're going to go over and recap the practice itself. We are also, I got about 15 minutes worth of exclusive footage from scrimmage. Hadn't been seen on Twitter or anywhere yet. So we're going to go over all of that. Swamp Donkey says, $2, smash that like button like Zach did to quarterbacks and running backs. Let's start off with that today. You know, Zach Thomas got enshrined today, and it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful day. Might I also add, if you haven't seen it, the bust that they put in for him is easily one of the best busts I've seen of any player so far. They got everything. Even he was like pointing out the jawline was so perfect and everything like that. But, man, it was just so beautiful to get 54, to see 54 finally get what he deserves. That spot in Canton, you know, growing up after Marino left, you know, obviously we had the Ricky years and we had the Chambers years and we had the Randy McMichael years and stuff like that. But the one consistency there for a while was Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor, man. You know, that defense was special with them leading the way and with Zach Thomas manning it. And what I'd do to give, what I'd give for us just to have a linebacker half the caliber Zach Thomas is. Well, we got David Long, but I'm just talking up to this point. What I would have done over the last couple of years for just half the caliber of what Zach Thomas was. Man, what a special player to watch. Deserving. But next up, it's Richmond's turn. Okay, it's Richmond Webb's turn. We're talking about a guy you can't even discuss the left tackle position ever. Now, listen, Zach Thomas, you can't discuss from 2000 to 2010. You can't discuss the linebacker position without mentioning Zach Thomas. But when you talk about left tackles ever, you can't have a greatest left tackle ever discussion without Richmond Webb's name coming up. Let's be honest here. No one, listen, I love Zach Thomas, but I have said this and I'll say it again. No one deserves a gold jacket more than that man. I mean, you heard what Don Shula said when he was inducted, talking about all the great linemen and then he mentioned Richmond Webb in his speech. Richmond is probably the biggest snub. We're talking about the only guys on his level in the 90s were Anthony Munoz from Cincinnati and Orlando Pace. Like, it literally, Orlando Pace and Anthony Munoz the guys on the freaking the NFL came out with their own all-decade list, and he's on that. All-decade team. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, that's such a snub. Such a snub. I mean, especially for, all the, all the accolades that Marino broke in the 90s behind Richmond Webb protecting his blind side. See, that's the problem, That's such a problem with offensive linemen in the Hall of Fame and fans in general, because there's no substantive stats. There's no sacks, touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what are you going to track pancakes and try to sell pancakes to the fan base? A lot of the fan base don't even know what a pancake is. They think it's something you get at breakfast. You know what I mean? So it just sucks, man, because Richmond, there's not a more humble man you'll meet in your life, and there's not a more deserving man you'll meet in your life than being enshrined in Canton than Richmond Webb. It's he deserves it, man. He deserves it 110%. You know what I mean? So, anyways, let's get on to this. Dalvin, oh Dalvin, where art thou, Dalvin Cook? As Jeff Wilson went to the locker room today. Devon Achane was on the sideline walking, quote unquote, gingerly today. Already it starts. Go get this man. We already lost Jalen Ramsey, and I'm not worried about Devon Achane. But Jeff Wilson, this is a recurring theme for his career, and it's already happening in August. What are we waiting on? People, we got a reason. We got to get more offensive linemen. Who's out there right now? We don't need George Fant. We need interior help. And Dalton Reisner's gone. Last I checked. I believe he went on a visit with the Minnesota Vikings and then signed with them. No? Oh, he's a free agent. He's still a free agent. But there's rumors about him and the Vikings since he went on their visit. And I've always said this about Dalton Reisner. As much as we want Dalton Reisner, is he one of the players in Denver that didn't like Butch Barry? Right? But anyways, who's out there? Who is out there? Scraps. Dalvin will help the offensive line more than you think. He'll make them look like they can run block. John Carlos says it wasn't all Tua. Everyone on that line got pregnant today with penetration. Tua hardly even through with the starters. Lots of tight end work for Tua. IMAX says, go get Cook and Fournette. Rome Gray tells the truth. Reiser was never coming. So who are we going to get? Explain this to me. Because people are like, well, we got to get offensive line. Who? Who are we going to get right now? We don't need George Fant. We need interior help. And I don't see anyone, do you? The only superstar right now out there is Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin will add another layer to defenses not knowing whether they load or keep light the boxes. You load it because you're afraid of Dalvin. We hit you with something quick or quick underneath going horizontal, or we hit you over the top vertical with our speed. Or if you lighten the box, what can we do? We can hit you with Devon Achane or Dalvin out of the backfield in a run or a pass play. Knight says, as a Tampa resident, you don't want Fat Lenny. No, we don't want Fat Lenny. We want Lombardi Lenny. We want that version. That's what we want. But, I know he's well on his way to being past his prime. I get it. And let's talk about Eichenberg. Eichenberg, it's so bad with Eichenberg that a fourth man entered the competition today. we now have a 4-way battle at left guard because Liam Eichenberg is just dropping the ball. And I heard Isaiah Wynn was looking dominant in one-on-ones today, and with some of his reps was looking real good. It was looking real good. But now we've got two others entering the fray. Q, listen, if you're a Patreon, after this video, go check the latest Patreon video for all the update on that and more. If you're a channel member, go over to the community tab. You got to be a channel member, though, and click it for the update if you want to hear what happened today at Scrimmage regarding the left guard competition. But it's getting clustered. It's getting clustered. I also talked about Dalvin Cook a little bit and Xavier Howard a little bit on the 3 Takes video on the Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside The NFL. And also, if you're a channel member, go over to if you're not a channel member, want to become one, it's that join button right down there next to subscribe. Click that, join. Multiple tiers to join. And you go over the community tab and you will unlock a whole bunch of posts that are not available to everyone else and not visible to the public. All right. So, and that's something I want to talk about, like with the offensive, here's where we got to be with it. Cause even Connor Williams had like high snap and we were seeing high snaps pop up with Connor Williams again, but people got to realize, look at the front seven these guys are going against. Like, look at the front seven. Like, when we go up against Atlanta in joint practices, that's going to be a cakewalk compared to what they're going up against right now. Going to be an absolute cakewalk. People got to remember the talent. You're going up against probably one of the most talented fronts in the NFL, if not the most talented front, between Wilkins, Seiler, Ogba, Phillips, Bradley Chubb all rotating on that front there. Raekwon Davis in the middle. That's a hell of a front. That's going to give even good offensive lines bad days at practice. Let's be honest with ourselves. And then you add on David Long behind them. And Baker now in a secondary role to David Long. That's a very formidable front seven. I think, listen, this is why I'm not panicking yet. Because, and I've always said this, practices matter. Joint practices and preseason games are when I start seeing some real answers, not practices against each other. Because, I mean, you know each other's weaknesses. You practice against each other. You're friends with the players. You have team meetings where you discuss things, et cetera, et cetera. So, and Rome brings up the great point in the chat. Remember what this D-line did on day one of joint practice to that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. Remember they made Jalen Hurts look like a disaster against us. Remember they didn't want a second day of practice. That was the first joint practice. That's why the Eagles thought they were going to see us in the Super Bowl, because that was their 5th joint practice. They had 4 others against two other teams, right? 2-2. And then we were the 3rd team to joint practice against for them. And that was the first practice that the media in Philadelphia and everyone basically agreed that they lost, and they lost handedly to us. So we'll see. I'm not panicking yet. I am panicking with Eichenberg because I'm hearing he is just, I've heard other than those first 2 days where pads came on, Eichenberg's just been, whoo, you know what I mean? Turnstile, ole, just letting people through. So he might as well, Liam Eichenberg's become a matador after this if it don't work out in the NFL. Just let bulls through, just letting them through. So I have heard that's been a consistent theme. And so other than the first couple strong days with pads on, he's been, I've heard. So we'll see. We will see again. You're taking on Wilkins and such constantly. I mean, we all know Liam Eichenberg ain't up to that task. We can all agree Wilkins is a top 15 to a top 10 defensive lineman. Liam Eichenberg is nowhere near a top 15 to top 10 interior offensive lineman. So that's a mismatch. Let's be honest with ourselves. All right, but that's the kind of competition he's gonna have to go up against. You at least got to hold your own. you at least got to hold your own. Right? You at least got to hold your own. So, before we get into the video highlights and the training camp recap for the day, just a piece of information, because this is what the morning started on. So you did, in case you guys hadn't heard, free agent defensive tackle Marvin Wilson worked out for the Dolphins. Obviously, it was this morning. Wilson, he spent the last 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, coming out, Marvin Wilson, there was a lot of big hype of him heading in to that, 2021 season. He came out of the same draft class as Jalen Waddle and such. And, he was he's coming out. He's a good fit coming out of FSU, Florida State. He was, primarily a 4-3 defensive tackle. He had huge hands. From what I saw in film, he could take on interior offensive linemen out of the play with he was just moving bodies and he was swatting flies, no problem. Coming out, he's 6'5", 313. I'm literally reading some of my scouting report on him. He was 6'5", 311 coming out. He looked like he was effective stuffing the run and disrupting the pocket. But it was clear, I said even then, but will never be a top-tier sack-getting defensive tackle. I liked his anchor, strong at the point of attack. I liked how quickly he moved for his size. But it just hasn't worked out because he went to the Eagles, and we've seen how stacked the Eagles have been at their interior defensive line and the game changers they brought in. I liked him coming out. Clearly, he hasn't made a ton of crazy headway since he came into the NFL, or, the Eagles would not be drafting Jalen Carter, would not be moving off of him, et cetera, right? He's only played 2 games, and he's had 3 solo tackles, 4 tackle assists, hasn't really made a huge impact when given snaps and when given the chance. So, we'll see if anything comes of it, but it shows you they're still clearly not happy with that interior defensive line depth if they're bringing in someone like Marvin Wilson, right? So there you go on that. Now, continuing on, let's get into, I got about, 15 minutes, I want to say. I've got about 15 minutes worth of training camp footage from the scrimmage today. So I'm going to get into that for all of you guys. All right. Let's get into that now for all of you. Are we getting freeway in the background? Beautiful. Love it. Sounds like it is. This is just the beginning, warming up a little bit here. Quarterbacks for all y'all. I believe it was Chris Coleman today who was getting everyone hyped up, the receiver.
Turn him up. Who's that? 87. It's 87. Oh, that's
Sound like a plug for the other one.
Need your win. Come on.
Shout out to Joel Fields. Appreciate you, sir. know Igbinoghene and Eli Apple both had days today. There you go, some special teams. Jake Bailey just booming punts today.
Falcons versus Dolphins.
Field goal.
That's how honest.
Big Fangio hates our D-line.
Who's all the way down there?
Now we're getting into the juvenile, man. Christian, was it Wilkins today had the ox? I think it was Wilkins today in the orange jersey. Killing it with the doobie. I think that's 2 times already Christian Wilkins has had the orange jersey now. Two times now he's had the orange jersey. That's sweet. Shout out to Michelle Migliardi, donated through the super chat. It says, thanks, Reason. You always do a great job keeping us informed. Appreciate you, Michelle. Thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. Oop, forgot to flip this one for all y'all. There it is. 2 up, takes it underneath. Just taking the short stuff. Everything deep gone.
I hope they don't even practice.
I know.
Let's see the fucking harsh weather conditions.
Incomplete, tight coverage.
I get soaked, bro. You sure?
Gone. 2 to Reek. Touchdown. Gone. I believe it was 58 yards. 58 yards, I believe that was. Gotta love the blue. Linebackers putting in the work. Quarterback work for all y'all. Man, we've already brought like over an hour worth of exclusive footage. Crazy. Nice step there. Jalen Phillips right through Austin Jackson. Side shuffle.
Oh boy, here we go. See what you got, Eichenberg.
Oh. Oh my God, Eichenberg just got destroyed. Destroyed.
All right,
Oh,
let's go, Kendall
Lord.
Lamb. See what all the hype is about.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Oh,
Fucking
Lamb just
destroyed.
got destroyed too.
Oh yeah. That's Dan Feeney right there. Good shit.
Nice fight by Dan Feeney right there.
Come on, Isaiah Wynn. Ooh,
Woo!
yeah.
Look at Win hold
Big
up,
boy.
baby. There you go.
So much
Now
better
that
than
is what you want to see.
Ridiculous.
That is what you want to
go
see.
Win.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you,
Ryan
Isaiah.
Hayes.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Oh.
he got absolutely destroyed.
Oh my
Ryan
Lord.
Hayes.
Ryan Hayes is not the answer.
So we got someone else in, Smith,
Here you go. Keon Smith
the starting O-line right now.
is getting
So
reps
they're
with
playing
the
everyone
one.
out here in left guard.
I've heard
Keon
Lester
Smith.
Cotton is the other one too. Look at this, Keon Smith right before your eyes. Getting reps with the ones. And
Oh.
destroyed. Demolished.
Yeah, we need you to do that in the game, Raekwon.
Raekwon just owned him. Took his lunch money. Oh no.
See what you got, Smith.
Keon Smith now.
Eh.
Oh.
Then
Little
Dan
bit better.
Feeney has been at center, and then Isaiah Wynn, they're trying to right guard too.
All right, let's see what we got here at right guard.
Get it,
This is
Wilkins.
exclusive, everyone. Right here. You only see this on Phinside The NFL. To a back. Steps up. Has to take the underneath and overthrows because everything was bad snap by Connor. Brutal. Ooh, nice little run there. See? Defense is doing a good job, but the checkdowns are there. That's what they want to do, dink and dunk you to death. Ooh, nice cutting. Salvin keeping up.
Yeah, that's Ahmed.
At least he's consistently showing. He's not disappearing yet. Tua, nice throw in the middle. Flag on the play though. Ooh, nice catch. Interception by Noah Igbinoghene. Noah Igbinoghene with the pick. Taking the underneath, everything just blanketed downfield. Oh. Punt. I heard there's a lot of tight end work with Tua today. There's that touchdown again for y'all. Back, stepping up, takes underneath, overthrows. Ooh, cut back. Defense definitely won the day today. And here you go, to end the practice, Tua was giving it to his offense. Today was not a good day for the offense. So he was letting his offense know he was not happy with them today. So there you go. I added that on the end. Shout out to Cash, for the homie, putting that up on Twitter. I had to add that on the end. That's the only thing that wasn't exclusive. You saw the battles there. You saw Keon Smith getting looks there. It's no joke right now how bad it is at left guard. But you saw Tua stepping up, showing some leadership, showing like, you know, this is my team, this is my offense, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later here. But, you know, before we do all that, let's get into the recaps so all of y'all could get the vibe of what was going down today at camp. So let's start off with the Miami Herald. They actually had a kind of a play-by-play thing going on today, and this is what they had. So at 9:10, the Dolphins worked out Marvin Wilson on Saturday, but he left without a contract offer. Any defensive tackle who signs would compete with Brandon Pilley, among others, for the backup nose tackle job behind Raekwon Davis. Miami so far has bypassed signing a venture defensive tackle to replace John Jenkins, who's now with the Raiders. Cam Smith was dressed, and it was a day after he left practice earlier with an apparent leg issue. After working coverage on Friday, he slipped on the sidewalk by the practice field end zone and walked off gingerly. Further evaluation revealed nothing serious. He's working cornerback drills before scrimmage. Trill Williams and Brandon Jones, working their way back from ACL injuries, are not wearing pads. They did some 11 work last week. Keon Crossan, who's been out since early in camp with an undisclosed injury, was dressed in uniform and wearing compression sleeves on both legs, but he's not participating in scrimmage. Devin Achane has not been spotted on the field. Deshaun Elliott, who practiced in a lot of 11-11 work, is not scrimmaging and was working out on the sidelines. He's dealt with a shoulder injury during the offseason. It's unclear if that's still the issue. Eric Izikama, Malik Reed, and Duke Riley don't appear to be practicing. Taron Armstead, who did some 11-11 work after coming off the pup, is not scrimmaging. Devin Achane has been spotted at 11:45 a.m. He's on the sideline but dressed in street clothes, walking gingerly and working on the sideline. Some highlights from QB, wide receiver, cornerback drills, and O-line defensive line drills. Howard was called for pass interference on Waddle. On a Tua pass, Howard picked a Mike White pass intended for Tyreek. Elijah Campbell had a good pass breakup on another play. Kendall Lamb beat Mitchell Agudier. Dan Feeney had a good rep against Brandon Pilley. Tino Alice had a pass breakup on Chris Coleman. Aubrey Miller had a pass breakup, so Aubrey Miller continues to make noise. Robbie Chosen caught a touchdown from Skylar Thompson against Eli Apple. Javon Holland intercepted a pass intended for Eric Saubert. Raekwon Davis got past Connor Williams on the swim move. Braxton Berrios looked over the wrong shoulder when Tagovailoa threw him a deep ball. Elijah Campbell forced an incompletion, and Isaiah Wynn continues an impressive camp. Jeff Wilson left for the locker room. He returned to the field a few minutes later and went back to the scrimmage with 2 fingers taped up on his left hand. Aubrey Miller stopped Raheem Mostert for no gain. Tua made a high throw to Mostert that was incomplete. Connor Williams snapped the ball well over Tagovailoa's head, which you saw the highlight of. It would have been a 16-yard loss in a real game. Mostert gained 5 on a run. Jalen stopped Myles Gaskin for a very short yardage gain. Gaskin showed good bursts on a 7-yard run and then ran for 4. And Chris Coleman is limping, the receiver. Mike White hit a sideline pass to Salvon Ahmed for 4 yards. A long pass from Tagovailoa to Tyreek was knocked away by Kedron Smith. Miles Jordan was also in coverage. Myles Gaskin ran for 6. Garrett Nelson, the Nebraska rookie, had a sack. Skylar Thompson's deep pass was knocked down by Javon Holland. Braylon Sanders was the intended receiver, and Ahmed had a nice gain to the right side. Skylar Thompson completed a short pass to rookie tight end Elijah Higgins for a short gain. Zach Sealer had a tackle for loss on Chris Brooks. Emmanuel Ogbah limited Brooks to a short gain. Ogbah has had 2 good days in a row. James Blackman, the former FSU player, is now in a quarterback, but briefly. Channing Tindall wrapped up Jeff Wilson. Jalen Twyman had a sack. Tua picked off by Noah Igbinoghene, we saw the highlight of, in a miscommunication on a Tyreek Hill route. Cam Smith, after Friday's injury, is on the field for 11-11s. That's encouraging. Christian Wilkins had a sack, continuing an exceptional camp. Mike White had a nice throw to Robbie Chosen for a 10-yard gain. Xavier Howard snuffed out a screen to Barrows for no gain. Barrows collided with Eli Apple on a 20-yard Mike White throw, and the ball fell incomplete. Aubrey Miller stopped Moser for a gain for just 2, and Miller has had some very good moments in camp. Tua Tagovailoa at 12-15 delivers a 58-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill on a beautiful throw against Kedron Smith. That was the play of the day through the first 45 minutes of scrimmage. Jalen Phillips beat Austin Jackson for a sack on Tua. Tagovailoa then hit Waddle on a nice throw for 18 yards on the sideline pattern. Sila had a tackle for a loss on Jeff Wilson. Sila continues a fabulous camp. Christian Wilkins had another quarterback pressure. He's a menace and has exceeded Fangio's expectations. Fangio said Noah Igbinoghene had a pass breakup on Waddle off a Tagovailoa throw, and Noah has had a good camp. There was a lightning delay, and then everyone came back at 1:10 is when it resumed, and Bradley Chubb immediately wraps up Raheem Mostert for no gain. Tua converts a 3rd and 9 with a 15-yard completion to Waddle. Tua Tagovailoa threw behind Waddle for an incomplete pass. Then Tua threw to Barrows for 5 yards. Zach Seiler batted away a Tagovailoa pass on 3rd and 5. Skylar Thompson completed a 10-yarder to River Craycraft. Salvon Ahmed ran for 5 yards between the tackles. Josiah Bronson, who has flashed his camp, had a sack. Thompson hit Chosen for a 23-yard gain on a really nice throw. Chris Brooks ran for 3 yards. Mike White threw across his body to Elijah Higgins for a 17-yard gain. Jalen Twyman and Channing Tindall stopped Myles Gaskin for a 2-yard gain. Mitchell Goodyear forced a throwaway from another pressure. Strong offseason continues. Mike White hit Chris Brooks for 10 yards on a throw. White then overthrew Braxton Berrios. Salvon Ahmed ran for 6. Robbie Chosen caught a pass for 9 yards that initially deflected off the hands of Noah Igbinoghene. Chosen kept running for a touchdown, but it was called a 9-yard play. Mike White failed to catch a snap from Dan Feeney, and the ball rolled for about 10 yards. It would have been a disaster in a real game. Bryce Thompson had a sack on Tua, who then threw an incomplete pass on a deep ball over the middle when Waddle slipped. Bryce Thompson had a pass breakup on a Tagovailoa throw to Waddle. And Randy Charlton, who I've heard is working on the inside, not off the edge, stopped Jeff Wilson for a short gain, then sacked Tagovailoa. Charlton, the Mississippi State rookie, hasn't flashed much in 8 practices, but he had 2 shining moments today. Jalen Twyman knocked down a Tua Tagovailoa pass, which Tagovailoa caught and ran with for a few yards. Twyman, the 3rd-year player from Pittsburgh, then had a sack a few minutes later. He's had a very good camp. Skylar Thompson completed a pass to Ahmed. That Ahmed took 15 yards up the sideline. Thompson pass was broken up by Verone McKinley, and Anthony Montalvo, the UCF rookie, then had a sack on Thompson. And finally, Elijah Campbell intercepted a Skylar Thompson pass that deflected off Freddie Swain's hands. Eli Apple deflected a Tagovailoa pass that was intended to Cedric Wilson Jr. Apple then jumped the route. Tua completed a 17-yard pass across the middle to Jalen Waddle against Miami's third-team defense. Tagovailoa then threw an incompletion after Wilson slipped on a route. Sounds like players are slipping today, eh? A Tua dump-off. Durham Smythe gained 12 yards. And then Eli Apple gets an interception of Tua on a 10-yard sideline throw near the end zone, ending the scrimmage. Smythe was the intended receiver. It was Tua's second interception of the day, but only his fourth of camp. And only 2 of those picks have come in 11-11 drills in 9 practices. Yeah, I heard the defense not only dominated, I heard it was Tua's arguably his worst day of camp so far. I mean, Eli Apple and Noah Igbinoghene pick you up on practice. That can't be a good feeling, huh? Interesting stuff. Man, it's just Noah Igbinoghene. And, you know, you like seeing Noah Igbinoghene and Eli Apple having good days, especially with Jalen Ramsey not being around. It's real positive to see. You like to see the young guys. And also another thing you come taking away, man, shout out to all those UDFAs making plays. Aubrey Miller making plays, Jalen Twyman making plays. I mean, shout out to you doing it, man. I appreciate it so much. I really do, man. It's hey Kevin, he said, can someone let me know Reasons Cash App? I'm Canadian, so I have PayPal. You can see it at the bottom there. PayPal.me, it's coming across right now. PayPal.me/Phinside. You can donate, or you can become a member of the channel, or you can join the Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside The NFL, and those give you benefits. So those are the options to donate. I thank you, man. I thank you for saying I deserve the donations. I usually don't really ask for them unless I think I'm going to get demonetized, or if it's a video I put a lot of work in, like the All-22 videos and such, or the draft videos. But I appreciate you, man. A lot of work does go into this stuff, so I appreciate you for showing love like that, man. I appreciate you. That means a ton, man. Just you recognizing and thinking I deserve that. Shout out to you. And also shout out to Michelle again, and shout out to Joel, and shout out to Knight and Jean Carlos and Swamp Donkey and Upland for all your donations and memberships today so far. I appreciate each and every one of you. And hey, listen, just smash that like button if you can't donate. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're under 200 away from 12,000. I want to get to 13K by the end of training camp. Where did I get this hat? I got this hat online off Fanatics a couple years ago. So, all right. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it going, because we got more to get into, more to cover today. For the Sun Sentinel and their subscriber-only training camp recap, but you know I got y'all. Rookie quarterback Cam Smith, the second-round pick from South Carolina, participated in inter-squad scrimmage Saturday at Hard Rock on a limited basis. Mike McDaniel said Smith's practice departure had nothing to do with his slip and fall on a sidewalk after he ran out of the end zone during a play on Friday. McDaniel also said the defense, which had at least 9 sacks, won the day Saturday. Tagovailoa threw 2 interceptions, one to cornerback Noah Igbinoghene and another to newly acquired cornerback Eli Apple. A crowd of a few thousand watched the rain and lightning interrupted scrimmage, which included a 58-yard touchdown pass from Tagovailoa to wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Technically, safety Keydron Smith poked the ball out around the 2-yard line and it bounced into Hill's arms in the end zone, so it would have officially been ruled a completion and a fumble recovery touchdown, but whatever. Smith's return was good news for the Dolphins, whose secondary has also been reduced by the left knee surgery to cornerback Jalen Ramsey, and with the injury recovers by Nick Needham, Brandon Jones, Keon Crossan, Troy Williams, and Deshaun Elliott still underway. Saturday's scrimmage marked the third time in the last week the Dolphins faced rain. 2 of those sessions featured lightning, and 1 moved indoors at their practice facility, while Saturday's session saw players go into the locker room and feds ahead onto the Hard Rock Stadium concourse for about 30 minutes. The Dolphins are off Saturday and Monday. Then they begin 2 joint practices with Atlanta on Tuesday, are off Thursday, and host the Falcons for their 7 p.m. preseason opener Friday at Hard Rock, which I will be live for. Observations. Eli Apple had an interception against Tagovailoa at the 1 yard line on the final play of the scrimmage. Apple was defending tight end Durham Smythe and had good positioning. Elijah Campbell, who was looking to establish a spot in the rotation, had a diving interception on a pass that glanced off the hands of Freddie Swain. Campbell has taken advantage of absences by fellow safeties Elliott and Jones. Rowan McKinley had a big hit in a pass breakup on Braylon Sanders. The secondary had a strong showing Saturday. Right guard Lester Cotton, who started the wild card game at Buffalo, had a good day. On one play, he combined with rookie right tackle Ryan Hayes for a nice double team on Twyman. Overall, Cotton was solid. Bradley Chubb and Manuel Ogba had a nice job setting the edge, meaning turning the running back to the inside. So that's good stuff. Chubb did it at least twice, and Ogba did it at least once. Tagovailoa had an unproductive day, especially as the scrimmage progressed. He was sacked at least 4 times through 2 interceptions and had at least 1 batted down at the line of scrimmage. Defensive lineman Zach Seiler had his usual active self with at least 2 tackles for losses, one on rookie running back Chris Brooks and the other on running back Jeff Wilson, and a tip pass from Tagovailoa at the line of scrimmage. Seiler had a good training camp. Hill and Apple lined up opposite of each other for one play, but there was a bad snap from center Connor Williams to Tua. Tua gathered the offense and had a passionate talk with them at the end of scrimmage. It wasn't a good day for the offense. Penalties, especially pre-snap penalties, were at a 3-day low. Thursday was a bad day with at least 5 false starts, and then there were at least 4 false starts Friday. So good stuff. Stock up for him. Jalen Twyman was his stock up, had a big day. And hey, I said they want to see how these joint practices, and preseason action goes before they make a big move at defensive tackle. And Twyman clearly continues to respond. Pilly's had his days too, so good stuff. Stock down is a comma. This isn't performance-based, it's injury-based. Is a comma. Last year's 4th-round pick, who struggled all season, has missed the last 2 days to an undisclosed injury, and he's fallen behind. Braxton Berrios and Robbie Chosen have had their moments the last 2 days, and when you consider Hill and Waddle as 1s and 2s respectively, Izakama might be down to number 5 or 6 right now. So, again, I mean, he said it too. Perkins said it. Tagovailoa had an unproductive day. I heard this was Tagovailoa's worst day of practice. There is, no doubt about it. But, again, Izakama, he's got to get out there, man. He's got to get out there. He has got to get out there. Hopefully he can get healthy. Hopefully he can get healthy and get back out there for real. But, yeah, Tua struggled today. Did not have a great day. And it is what it is. They're going to happen, especially against this good of a defense. Marino's GOAT. He says, is my Patreon active? I will have to check after this and get back to you. Marino's GOAT. Email me so I can email you back, okay? And I will check for you. He said he became a member right now. Here, let me do a quick check for you, okay? A quick little check for you right now. Marino's GOAT. Your membership is... It looks like you're still... Yeah, no, you're good. You're active. You are active on Patreon, Marino's GOAT. So you are good, my friend. You are all set up there. Appreciate you. All right, and we got a couple other donations here I want to shout out. We got some PayPal donations came through while I was ranting and rambling before we keep it rolling here. We had 2 donations come through, so I want to shout them out. Shout out to the homie Christopher Sanders with the donation. I appreciate that. He just came through with a $24 donation. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a big time. Thank you. He sent $20 US. And another $20 US donation from Jacqueline Slayus. I don't want to butcher your name, but we'll just shout out Jackie. Thank you, Jacqueline. She says, thank you for all you do, Reason. Always keeping us Dolphins informed. Appreciate you, Jacqueline. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. Hey, you guys think highly enough of me to jam pack my streams, to follow me and what I do. But when you guys donate and when you guys, join the Patreon, become channel members, but donate to the channel, share with your friends. I mean, man, it's unbelievably flattering. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting the channel and making me the #1 Dolphins live streamer in the community. I appreciate all y'all. So, continuing on, this is what was seen today from Sports Illustrated and SI. The Dolphins held practice at Hard Rock, and there was some rain during the proceedings. It was accompanied by lightning, which caused the suspension of practice. The practice at the stadium was not a pure scrimmage, but involved a lot of team sessions. So Cam Smith was back. Devin Achane missed practice. Taron Armstead was on hand but did not practice. And then Christian Wilkins wore the orange jersey. Jeff Wilson went to the locker room but came back with 2 fingers taped. And then Brandon Jones, Troy Williams, Keon Crossan did not practice. And the same goes for Duke Riley, Malik Reed, and Eric Izakama. The 2 most noteworthy plays of practice involved wide receiver Tyreek Hill, though one of them was a highlight for the defense. Igbinoghene picked off a mid-range Tua Tagovailoa pass down the left sideline after Hill stopped his route, a sign of a possible miscommunication between the quarterback and receiver. So there you go. Now we're finding out Hill totally stopped his route. We also saw the highlight, but we always talk about how all these different recaps, people say different things. There you go. That was the first one to highlight that. On to his next series, he and Hill connected on a 58-yard touchdown pass down the right side, though it didn't come before rookie safety Keandre Smith punched the ball out of Hill's hands before he reached the goal line. As usual, there was a one-on-one session before team periods, and the story there in the receiver DB part was the flag fest with DPI all over the place. One very unusual occurrence was an interception by Xavier Howard on Mike White after Hill tried a series of moves 5 or 10 yards downfield but couldn't shake X. The one touchdown pass in the session came from Thompson when he hit Robbie Chosen in the end zone despite tight coverage from Eli Apple. It was a good day for the defense. Despite the long touchdown pass from Tua to Hill, the defense probably had the better of the play during team sessions. It started with rookie free agent Aubrey Miller, meeting Raheem Mostert at the line on the first play. On the third play of opening 11-11 set, Connor Williams and sailed the shotgun snap over to his head, which obviously would have resulted in a huge loss. Williams, to be fair, came right back on the next play with a nice block against Raekwon Davis on a run by Mostert. Before Tua connected with Hill deep for that touchdown, Tua tried another bomb to him, this one near the left sideline, but Hill was double covered, and Miles Dorn knocked the ball away. Javon Holland also had a deflection on an incomplete deep pass, this one from Thompson, intended for Braylon Sanders. Garrett Nelson, linebacker Jalen Phillips, Jalen Twyman each had a sack, and Wilkins also could have been credited with one. Zach Seiler again had a tackle for loss on a run. James Blackman got his first 11-11 snaps of camp, though his one series included 2 running plays and the sack by Twyman when Blackman never had a chance to avoid him. White had a nice completion to Chosen on his slant. Braxton Berrios was involved in back-to-back noteworthy plays shortly before practice was stopped. On the first, Howard did a nice job of coming up to meet him at the line after a quick throw from White. On the next, he was the target of another White pass after making a cut on the outside, but the ball got there just as he was about to run into cornerback Eli Apple. The defense dominated even more once practice resumed. Seiler started things off with a tip of a Tua pass at the line. Bronson had a sack, followed on the next play by another potential sack where Raekwon Davis got the initial pressure. Robbie Chosen had a couple of big plays, a 23-yard completion from Thompson, and a later completion after he was covered by Noah Igbinoghene on a slant, and the ball bounced up. That might have been a long touchdown in a game. Tight end Isaiah Higgins had a nice play off of a rollout by White, even when he blocked Miller to the ground and they got open to catch a short pass. Mitchell Agudier had a couple of noticeable plays, a quarterback pressure and then a tackle for a loss against Gaskin. Bryce Thompson had a sack on a blitz on Tua and then followed that with a great coverage against Waddle. Tua completed a pass himself after Twyman tipped the ball at the line of scrimmage. Verone McKinley forced an incompletion after an apparent completion from Thompson to Sanders. Anthony Watavo and Twyman had back-to-back sacks against Thompson in a 2-minute drill. Elijah Campbell picked off Thompson on a pass that went off Freddie Swain's hands on a play where Brandon Pilley got a pressure up the middle. On the last 2-minute drill of practice, Eli Apple was a star, first jumping a route by Cedric Wilson, getting his hands on the ball for a pass breakup, and ending practice by getting in front of tight end Durham Smith to pick off Tua near the goal line. So, again, I like seeing that Braxton is making plays. Chosen's coming alive a little bit. He's starting to make some plays. But the defense, they won the day. And now, what's great about camp is it's been so back and forth. How many times? There's been 4 or 5 days where you said the defense has won, and then the other days we said the offense has won. This has been like a neck-and-neck battle. This Fangio-McDaniel battle of the minds we were so hyped to see at camp has been quite the battle between their units. Even though defense dominated the day, they still gave up a 58-yard touchdown. A defense that's built to take away explosive plays gave up a 58-yard touchdown. So that's very interesting to me. Very interesting to me. Very, very interesting. And finally, in terms of training camp recap, Adam Beasley's coverage from Scrimmage today said the most interesting part of day 9 of Miami Dolphins training camp wasn't what happened during the only stadium practice of the season, but what happened afterward. Tua Tagovailoa gathered Miami's offense after it's below its standard session. What did he say? We'll get into that plus more in our day 9 Miami Dolphins report. Tagovailoa on Saturday threw 2 interceptions in team drills. Javon Holland picked off Tagovailoa on a 1st and 20 throw to Tyreek Hill that looked to be a miscommunication. And then on the final play, it was actually not Javon Holland. It was Noah Igbinoghene. On the final play of the rain-interrupted session, Eli Apple stepped in front of Durham Smythe at the goal line for Tua's second interception. That turnover came on the last play of the failed 2-minute drill by the starting offense against backup defenders. On the day, Tagovailoa very unofficially completed 12 of 24 passes in team drills for 142 yards, and his day was only as efficient as it was because he connected with Hill on a 58-yard touchdown strike. On the other 23 attempts, Tagovailoa averages 3.7 yards per pass attempt. Here's the thing in the journey, especially when you're going to be a good team, Mike McDaniel said after practice, the offense has its days and the defense has its days. What you want is a team that takes advantage of any inch that the other side gives you. So we've had those ebbs and flows on both sides of the ball. Today it seemed, I got to watch the tape, but it was clearly advantage defense, but that's not really how we look at it. Okay, they won. No, it's what and why and how we can progress. One of the cool things, I was pretty locked in on Tua during the day, and he could feel that the guys were too geeked up. Sometimes you get over competitive and then jump off sides. Then you start pressing and stop thinking about your technique, and you end up focusing on trying to make the play, and the inverse happens. I know he could feel it. There were some guys that weren't their normal selves. That happens in practice every day. And, the journey is just the beginning for the team. And that's the way the both sides of the ball have to look at it. There will always be plays, too, that the defense will learn from. But overall, very productive day when people really put themselves out there and we're able to learn from it. Sometimes those are the hard lessons. What did Tagovailoa say to his offense after practice? It was just him being a leader like he is every day, said Robert Jones. Just told us that we have to keep working on the little things, keep being competitive no matter what adversity hits, keep grinding, keep going. That's basically all. Cam Smith was back in uniform today. McDaniel suggested that Smith is working through some expected rookie soreness, but did not seriously injure himself Friday. Devin Achane was not. McDaniel said that his injury was not serious and added that he's day-to-day. A South Florida summer afternoon thunderstorm did suspend the practice for about a half hour on Friday. And then, obviously, Izukama, Armstead, and Jones did not practice. By our count, Dolphins defense had somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 sacks today, including multiple by Josiah Bronson and Jalen Twyman. And remember, I've been telling all y'all that they're super high on Josiah Bronson. And look at the plays he's been making. So, huge. Good stuff. Good stuff. And, something I wanted to talk about here, guys, too. Omar Kelly tweeted this out today. He said, it's very clear that every single player looks to Tua as the leader of the offense and Christian Wilkins as the leader of the defense. Very clear. Remember that. Very clear. And that's huge. That's massive compared to where we were. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, you look at where he's come just a couple years ago, he didn't even want, anything to do with being the captain of the team. And now it's clear and evident that he is the leader of the offense. And then on the flip side, Christian Wilkins. You know what I mean? It's quite huge that this guy wants, you know what I mean? He wants to be a leader even under the issues that's going on right now. You know what I mean? Even with his whole deal going on, it's good stuff, man. It's really good stuff that he's showing leadership through, even despite not having a contract in place, when it's clear that, you know what I mean? He deserves it. He deserves it right now. And, but hey, we got our two leaders showing what we need them to show right now. And, you know, if you didn't see it today, you know, Christian Wilkins, he talked about how, you know, listen, he said, I definitely feel like I've done enough and, you know, done a lot to earn a new deal and a new contract. Listen, I don't know what to say. They got to pay this man. Right? We got to pay this man. We got to figure out a way to make this work. We do. Somehow, some way, we got to find a way to make this work and get him locked up and taken care of. I think it's time just to go ahead and take care of that man and pay that man. Now, I still don't agree with paying him over $22 million. But again, listen, I'm down for, you know, a 4-year contract, 5-year contract. Well, 4 years, around 60 to 65 million guaranteed, right? And then, you know, 4 years would be ideal. 60 million guaranteed with incentives to get him up there. The longer you wait, just with how he's looking at camp, the longer you wait. Now, hey, their plan could be, we're going to franchise tag him again. And then if they franchise tag him again, they're going to basically get him for 2 seasons at like, what, I think what is the franchise tag? Like it's $18 or $16 million next year. So they're going to get him for just over $30 million on 2 years if they franchise tag him again. That could be their plan. But I'm going to tell you this much. If that's your plan, I don't know about a long-term extension, because if you don't get something done heading into this season, they're going to be forced to franchise tag him because his asking price is going to go up even more. If what he's doing at camp translates to in-game situations, then yeah, he's going to be asking for even more money. So better figure it out, and better figure it out quick. Better figure it out quick. And shout out to the Knight. He tagged me in a a few tweets here, and I guess, a few doctors tweeted about Ramsey, and, the fact that Ramsey needed no brace and is already off crutches, it means one of two things. They either did a meniscus trimming, not repair, which means 6 weeks, or the repair was so small that they can accelerate his timeline, increasing into the likelihood of a 3 to 4 month return rather than the standard 4 to 6. So let's pray that it continues to be good news and Ramsey is back in 3 to 4 months and the repair was so small because the tear was so small. Let's pray. Guys, there's still well over 300 of you in the room. Smash that like button, subscribe for new. The Dolphins are off tomorrow and off Monday. Then they're back with joint practices on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm probably going to be back on Monday for all of y'all, so be on the lookout for that. If I'm not, then you can catch me on Tuesday when they get back, but we'll be live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no matter what. And then Friday, it's the preseason opener, guys. The preseason opener on Friday against Atlanta. Big, big week on deck. Let's get it, Fins fans. You already know what time it is. Let's go. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to get out of here. Fins up all day, every day. Love each and every one of you. Thank you to everyone who donated. Smash the like button. Appreciate all y'all. And I will see all y'all in the next one. Until then, you already know what time it is, baby. Fins up, baby. I will see all y'all in the next one.